So I'm going to speak about something that I've been thinking of recently, which is how the movement is going in Lebanon. So this is very much about Lebanon, but I'm sure that a lot of us might share the same bit. So the first word is project. So at one point, so Nasawiya used to have a lot of projects, still does, but I think we had mentioned this a bit before that maybe, so projects and movements and how projects might feed into it, or programs. A lot of the projects that we've worked on before have been very, I want to say, kind of negative. So like, this is about sexual harassment, and it's about, you know, this young girl, Salwa, who beats people with her purses so that, you know, they get off her case and quit harassing her. And then, so another bit that we've also been engaging with is the coalition in Lebanon of the women's movements and the feminist movements on the domestic violence law. And so we've been engaging with the state on that one, but also on a very negative tone of, you know, women are dying, a woman dies every month because of domestic violence, we need to protect women's rights and so on. And then after they were engaging, they started, well, one of the groups, which is KEFO, which means Stop Violence Against Women, well, it just means stop. Well, they started shaming the parliament members who were trying to draft this law, which really eventually now has come out to be very maimed and awful. So what it started out with now has been transformed to something that is not really very useful, not really what we had in mind, which I think echoes a lot in other places. So we tried engaging, and then we tried disengaging. So after, there was an attempted rape, and I don't know, I hate the word attempted rape. So the family members of this girl who was murdered in a suburban area, they were very strict on saying, well, she was murdered, but it was an attempted rape. She was not raped. She was definitely not raped, but it was an attempt. And so we went to the streets with one of what is probably our biggest marches to fight rape. But also, you know, and with that, I mean, it doesn't show very well, but it says every government that allows or condones all kinds of, or some forms of rape cannot be depended on. And so we tried disengaging. And then we tried antagonizing. So also a few months ago, there was this situation that happened in also one of the suburbs of Dikwene, and the mayor of Dikwene decides to go into this gay bar, arrest gay men, drag out a trans woman, strip her naked in his quarters to understand what is this creature in front of us. And so that graphic is of him, and then his head is at his crotch, and he's saying "Shujinskun into," which means what is your sex? But also "Jinskun" means what type of people are you? So "Jins" is sex and type. So what are you? And he's kind of looking at them, and so we antagonized the mayor, and we wrote something massive. But here I need to state that a lot of the movement on sexual rights kind of split, right? So you got more of the people talking about, like, oh, the gay bar was closed, and very few people talked about, for example, the Syrians at the gay bar were taken away to prison, and not the Lebanese boys, and then they'd always drop in the trans as a footnote, and the trans woman got stripped naked. That's awful. So kind of a divide, right? So we tried antagonizing. I don't have a photo for celebrating sex, and I had written the act of fucking, but the act of sex, but then I figured the fuck will do. So what happens here is I feel like somewhere in talking about violence, I feel like we're almost, how is it? We're talking about this awful bit of sex that we can negotiate with the state, right? Because we assume that this is something that should be understood. If it's violence and sexuality, then maybe we'll get a win. But I don't know exactly if that's, and even in that, we never completely get everything we want. We always get the middle, and I honestly just doesn't make sense. How is it that all these forms of violence and rape get, somewhere in the middle? We always get halfway there, and I feel like engaging with the state and engaging with governments is absolutely pointless at this point, because even when we're being really soft and we're kind of working with them, we get halfway. So I think, well, screw it, let's just go all the way. I think we need to drop violence, honestly, because also I think it's tiring our movements to talk about rape and violence and then the harassment of migrant workers and refugees, and it's all important work, and I think we need to do it, but I think collaborating on the negative it's killing our movement, honestly. And I think a lot of people are going in separate ways. They're tired, and then you get these personal conflicts of everybody's really just tired with that. So I think we need to, wait, it's on the second page. So yeah, so I think we need to more talk about the beauty of sex. I think we need to go into sexuality full throttle. Sorry, my bad. And I think because for a bit, really, we need to go back to the basics. We've gone so far in advance in talking about sexuality, and we've learned so much, but I don't think we're giving in that knowledge with the feminists that are coming up and the new kids. We've analyzed it all to such an extent that we're not sharing it anymore. We're just arguing at this other level, and we're not even, sometimes I think we reference patriarchy, but I think sometimes we forget what patriarchy is, and we've quit deconstructing that with the younger feminists that are coming up. So that's my